Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This week we are going to be tackling the Atlassian Cloud updates from December 9th to the 16th.
Yeah, buckle up.
It's a big one. So we're talking new features, improvements, bug fixes, even some policy changes and platform updates, and we're looking at a whole bunch of products.
Pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Administration. The Jira platform, Jira itself, Jira Service Management, Jira Product Discovery, Confluence, Bitbucket, Compass, and Atlassian Analytics.
We've got a lot to cover.
We do, but we are going to break it down for you and help you understand what's most important and how it might impact your workflows. So let's jump right in. We'll start with Atlassian Administration, the hub for managing your Atlassian universe.
The control center.
Exactly. And security is right at the top of the list this week.
Yeah.
Atlassian Guard Premium now has the ability to detect access attempts from devices that might be considered insecure.
Interesting, right? They're not just flagging it, though. They're giving you the option to disable that detection.
Oh,
Yeah, if you've got a legitimate need to allow access from devices that maybe don't meet the usual security standards, you can actually turn that feature off, which is pretty cool, especially for organizations that might have some unique security needs.
I like that flexibility. And speaking of flexibility, there's an update for API token controls.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
You can now manage those even without needing Atlassian Guard Standard.
Right. So even if you don't have Guard Standard, you can still get more granular control over who can authenticate using API tokens.
Another layer of security.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's shift gears to user management. Approving those new product requests just got a whole lot easier.
They've streamlined the whole process. It's super clear and straightforward now.
So admins can just quickly approve those requests.
Yep. No more getting lost in a complicated approval workflow.
I love it. And coming soon, you'll be able to set a default classification level for all your Confluence content organization-wide.
Basically a blanket security measure for Confluence data.
That's especially helpful if you're working with sensitive information. But keep in mind, you will need Guard Premium for this feature.
Right. Makes sense. It does seem like Atlassian is moving towards a more automated and centralized approach to data classification. It'll be interesting to see how that evolves.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Now there's a new admin overview page.
I was just checking that out.
Yeah.
Pretty slick.
Gives you a clear view of everything happening across your organization. All in one place.
No more jumping between different screens and reports.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like a personalized dashboard for your entire Atlassian world.
I think it's part of a larger trend where Atlassian is really focusing on providing admins with better insights and monitoring capabilities.
Makes sense. And if you haven't already switched to direct access, Atlassian is making it even easier with a new one-time prompt.
Little nudge in the right direction.
Right. Direct access really streamlines product access management, making it so much smoother and faster.
Anything that removes friction for admins is a good thing in my book.
Absolutely. And for those of you using Microsoft Entra, you now have more flexibility in how you sync users. You can use either their email or their user principal name.
Gives you more options for identity management. Always good to have options.
Agreed. Now let's talk about RovoSearch. Admins can now add bookmarks to specific URLs based on search terms.
So imagine someone searches for password reset in Rovo.
You can set it up so the top result is a direct link to your password reset knowledge base article.
Right. It's a clever way to guide users to the most relevant information and save them a lot of time and effort.
Love it. And speaking of security, the anonymous access rule has been enhanced.
Oh, yeah. This is a big one for Confluence.
It can now prevent anyone who's not logged in from viewing Confluence pages.
In addition to Jira issues.
Right. Adding an extra layer of security for sensitive information.
Especially important these days.
Definitely. And last but not least, for administration updates, there's a new feature for Bitbucket that's currently in beta.
Admins are getting more control over Bitbucket requests. They can approve or deny them.
Which is huge for managing shadow IT and controlling cloud spending.
It's all about giving admins the visibility and control they need to ensure compliance, manage costs, and prevent those security risks associated with unauthorized tool usage.
Well said. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground with Atlassian administration, but there's so much more to explore.
We're just getting started.
Exactly. Now let's zoom out a bit and take a look at the Jira platform as a whole.
Sounds good.
And we're going to start with something fun. You can now customize how long done items stay visible on your Jira boards.
I like this one. It's the little things.
Right. You can choose to keep those completed tasks visible for a certain number of days.
Gives you a sense of accomplishment and closure before they disappear.
And if you like adding a little visual flair to your Jira boards, you can now use format rules to color code items in your lists.
Color coding can be so helpful for prioritizing work.
Absolutely. It's a great way to highlight tasks based on their due dates, priorities, or any other criteria that's important to you.
Visual cues are powerful.
They really are. Now let's dive into permissions and administration. There are new permissions that allow you to delegate the editing of workflows and issue layouts in company-managed projects,
So you can empower project leads or other trusted users to make those adjustments.
which frees up admins to focus on more strategic tasks.
Delegation is key.
Absolutely. And for those of you on premium or enterprise plans, archiving issues just got a major upgrade.
Archiving is always better than deleting.
Right. It's a safer and more responsible approach. You can always restore those archived issues if needed.
Data integrity is important.
It really is. Now get ready because we're about to enter the world of automation. And there's some exciting new features.
Let's do it.
First up, you can now validate your automation rules before you activate them.
No more unexpected surprises.
Exactly. You can catch those errors early on and avoid potential headaches down the line.
Much better to be safe than sorry.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah?
And you can now use smart values for form fields.
This is a game changer.
Right. Think about automatically creating Jira tickets based on form submissions.
Or updating fields based on user responses.
Exactly. The possibilities are endless.
Automation for the win.
Absolutely. And if you like to plan ahead, you can now save your automation rules as drafts.
So you can build out those complex rules over time without having to activate them right away.
Exactly. And here's another cool one. You can now create Google Docs directly from Jira and Confluence automation.
Wow.
Right. Think about automatically generating meeting notes, reports, or any other type of document.
That's incredible.
I know, right? Okay, now for those of you who are part of the early access program for company managed projects, creating a board for your software project just got a whole lot smoother.
Streamlined board creation. I love it.
It's all about making it easier and faster to get your board up and running.
Efficiency is key.
Always. Okay, let's talk smart links. You can now do even more with those handy little shortcuts.
You can edit Jira summaries, change statuses, and reassign issues right from the list view.
No need to even open the issue itself.
Love that. Saves so much time.
Right. And smart links are now available in even more fields.
So you can connect even more content across your Atlassian ecosystem.
Exactly. Now they've made some improvements to search in the in-product help section,
They're highlighting search terms now.
which makes it much easier to scan through those search results and find what you're looking for.
A small change, but a big improvement.
Agreed. Now, business forms are getting some attention as well. There are new templates available,
Including one specifically for marketing work intake.
which is great for streamlining those marketing requests and ensuring consistency.
Templates are so helpful for that.
They really are. And for those who like a clean and uncluttered Jira experience, admins now have global control over the Hide Unused Fields feature.
So you can decide whether to show or hide those fields across your entire Jira instance.
Exactly. Makes for a more streamlined and focused interface.
Decluttering is always a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, just a couple more platform-wide updates before we move on to the individual Jira products.
Okay, hit me.
New Jira instances are now domain-enabled by default.
So anyone with your organization's email domain can access shared projects.
Right. But admins can disable this feature if they need to restrict access.
It's a double-edged sword for sure.
Definitely something to be aware of. And finally, for those who feel like the term issue is a bit too limiting, Atlassian is reducing its use across Jira,
They're trying to make the language more inclusive and adaptable to different team types.
which is a great move.
Ugh.
Okay, we've made it through the Jira platform updates.
Yeah.
Now, are you ready to dive into the specifics of Jira itself?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's get into it.
Okay, so Jira, where do we even begin?
How about with email notifications?
Okay.
So you know how admins are always battling those email gremlins?
Oh yeah, those pesky things.
Well, good news. You can now filter the email audit log by status.
So you can quickly find those bounced or blocked emails.
Exactly. It makes it way easier to fix those delivery issues.
That'll save a lot of headaches. Now, what about project bundles? I've heard some buzz about those.
Oh, yeah, those are pretty cool.
What are they exactly?
Basically, they're prepackaged sets of projects designed for specific teams.
Like marketing teams or IT teams?
Right. Ready to go right out of the box.
Nice, so you don't have to start from scratch every time.
Exactly. But here's the best part. You can actually customize those bundles.
Oh, that's cool. And you can even create your own.
Yep, so you can build a bundle that perfectly matches your team's needs.
That's awesome. So much flexibility. Now let's talk about company-managed projects.
Okay, what's new there?
Well, you now have even more control over your boards.
How so?
You can directly manage columns right from the board view.
So you can add, rename, move set limits, even delete columns.
Yep, all without having to dig through menus and settings.
Very nice. It's all about making those on-the-fly adjustments as seamless as possible.
Absolutely. And if you use the program board for planning and roadmaps, you'll be happy to know that you can now manage dependencies directly on the board.
Dependency management is so crucial, especially for complex projects.
Right. This way you can visualize those relationships between tasks and identify potential bottlenecks.
Keeps your projects running smoothly.
Exactly. Now there's a new bulk actions toolbar for your backlog.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. You can now update multiple issues at once.
No more clicking through each one individually.
Right. It's a huge time saver.
Yeah.
And they've also decluttered the quick add buttons in the issue view.
Less visual clutter.
Exactly. You'll find them neatly organized under add and apps buttons.
I like a clean interface.
Me too. It makes everything so much easier to find. Now for those code review gurus out there,
Ah, yes, the developers.
there are new work suggestions for pull requests that need attention.
So those will pop up right on your Jira board.
Yep. No need to switch between tools.
That's smart. Keeps everything centralized.
Absolutely. And speaking of integration, the connection between Jira and Confluence is getting even stronger.
Oh.
You can now create Confluence whiteboards directly from your Jira backlog.
Wait, really? That's awesome.
I know, it's so seamless.
Imagine you're refining your sprint plan in your backlog.
You can just instantly create a whiteboard to brainstorm solutions.
I love that.
Me too. Okay, let's switch gears to Jira Service Management, which has a bunch of cool new features.
Hit me.
First up, Atlassian Intelligence is now being used to enhance incident management.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it can summarize incidents and even create incident timelines directly in Slack.
So on-call teams can get the information they need right where they're already communicating.
Exactly. And managing on-call rotations is now easier with global on-call schedules and escalation policies.
You can manage those rotations across multiple teams from one central location.
Which is a huge time saver. The virtual service agent is also getting some love in this update.
Oh, yeah, that's a powerful tool.
It's now available in your help center and email.
So you can provide automated support to your customers through even more channels.
Exactly. And for those who use the JSM sandbox to test out configurations,
What's new there?
you can now copy specific JSM projects to your sandbox environment.
So you can create a more tailored testing experience.
Exactly. Now let's talk about customer and organization management.
Okay, what's changed there?
You can now restrict request types to specific customer accounts and organizations.
Interesting.
Yeah, it gives you more control over who can submit certain types of requests.
Another layer of security.
Exactly. And if you use a help center alongside JSM, you can now link specific service projects to a particular help center.
So you can provide a more targeted and relevant experience for your customers.
Absolutely. Now, for those who rely on approvals in their workflows, approvals are now available in the new workflow editor for company-managed projects.
That was a missing feature for a while.
Right. Now it's easier than ever to configure and manage those approval processes.
Makes sense. Now, I heard there are new data limits for object schemas and assets.
Yeah, that's right. It's to prevent performance issues with large data sets.
So admins should check the usage guidelines.
Definitely a good idea. Okay, let's talk about keeping those issues secure.
Security is always top of mind.
It should be. There's a new default issue security scheme for company-managed service projects.
Makes it easier to implement security levels right out of the box.
Exactly. And you can now manage issue security directly on request types.
Keeps everything nice and centralized.
Absolutely. And there are a few more JSM updates to mention. They've improved the editing experience for queues.
Oh, nice. Less frustration.
Right. And emoji shortcuts in Slack are now powered by Jira automation.
So more control and flexibility.
Exactly. And finally, there are new suggestions powered by Atlassian Intelligence on the issue view.
Those will be helpful for agents.
Definitely. Gives them valuable context and insights to help resolve issues more efficiently.
Love it. Okay, so we covered JSM.
We did. Now let's take a quick look at Jira Product Discovery.
Okay, what's happening over there?
Well, you now have more control over roadmap visibility with new roadmap permissions.
So you can decide who can view and edit roadmaps.
Exactly. And you can now see and manage linked ideas directly within the Jira issue view.
So you can track the progress of those ideas as they become Jira issues.
Right. It's all connected. And finally, for those on the Jira Premium plan, Jira Plans is now included in your subscription.
Nice bonus.
It's a powerful tool for creating comprehensive plans across multiple teams and projects.
Great for getting that high-level view.
Absolutely. Okay, ready to dive into Confluence.
Always ready for some Confluence action.
Yeah.
It's amazing how AI can make those complex tasks so much easier.
Right, it's like having a data wizard on your team.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about Bitbucket and Compass. They have some updates too.
Oh, right. Bitbucket first. So in Bitbucket, you can now record or upload Loom videos directly onto a Jira issue.
Loom videos. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a great way to add some visual context to your issues.
Like if you're trying to explain a bug or walk someone through a process,
Exactly. Sometimes words just aren't enough.
visuals can be so much more effective. And what about Compass?
Compass users will be happy to hear that product admins can now create custom component types.
So more flexibility in how they organize their software architecture.
Exactly. You can really tailor it to match your team's specific terminology and workflows.
I like it. Okay, well, we've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive.
We really have. It's been a whirlwind of updates.
It has. So as we wrap up, what are some of the key takeaways that you, as an Atlassian user, should keep in mind?
Well, for me, the biggest takeaway is the growing role of AI across the entire platform. We saw it in Jira Service Management Confluence. Atlassian Analytics AI is no longer just a buzzword. It's becoming an integral part of how we work.
I completely agree. And it's not just about AI. Atlassian is clearly committed to making their products more powerful and user-friendly. They're listening to their users and constantly improving their tools.
Absolutely. They're finding that sweet spot between sophisticated features and ease of use, and the tighter integration between products is another big win.
It's all about creating that seamless, connected experience. Okay, before we sign off, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. Think about all the changes we discussed today and ask yourself, how can you take advantage of these updates?
Are there any processes you can streamline? Any tasks you can automate?
The key is to be proactive and explore how these new features can help you work smarter, not harder.
And don't be afraid to experiment. Dive into those new features, play around with them, see how they fit into your workflows.
Couldn't agree more. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the latest Atlassian Cloud updates. We hope you found it informative and maybe even a little inspiring.
We'll see you next time.
Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with Atlassian.
And remember, the world of technology never stands still. So stay curious and never stop learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. See you next time.